Bonjour, welcome. Welcome to the 6th edition of WNE, World Nuclear Exhibition 2025. I will be the Master of Ceremony, and my name is Linda Nyberg, and I will join you through these 3 days of intensive discussions and seminars and networking. I am very much looking forward to this, and I can feel the energy in the room, and hopefully you felt it outside as well. We're actually going to record all the sessions. I give you some information here, and if you need translation, je parle français, but we're going to do all this in English. My French is not that good, and I guess all of you here are good in English. If you need translation, you actually can scan the QR code available on the screens, and then you can use your earphones. So please do that if you need that. Now, it's actually time for the inauguration ceremony. And I have the honor to welcome up on stage. We start with the French Minister of Economy, Finance, Industrial, Energy and Digital Sovereignty, Monsieur Roland Lescure. Bienvenue. And please have a seat. Good to see you. And now, Her Excellency, Mrs. Sylvie Bermann, President of World Nuclear Exhibition, Ambassador of France. Welcome up on stage. Please have a seat. And we continue with Monsieur Raphael Mariano Grossi, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Welcome. And we also have, of course, Fatih Birol, Executive Director for the International Energy Agency. Give him a warm hand. And I think for the photos, they might want to have you in front, all four of you, and then we start. And while you're standing there next to Monsieur Lescure, the Ministre, I will tell you a little bit about our first speaker today. And it's Her Excellency, Mrs. Sylvie Bermann, Ambassador of France and President of the World Nuclear Exhibition. She has a background as an ambassador of France to major nuclear countries like China, UK, and Russia. And I've been told that her second language, it's not what I thought it was, it's actually nuclear. And it's her third time at WNE. Welcome up on stage, Her Excellency Sylvie Bermann. Welcome. Give her a warm hand.
Thank you, Linda. Your Excellency, the Minister of the Economy, Finance and Industrial, Energy and Digital Sovereignty of France, Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, dear Raphael, Executive Director of the International Energy Agency, dear Fatih, Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, industry leaders, and friends of nuclear energy. Good morning, and welcome to the 6th edition of the World Nuclear Exhibition, the world's largest show dedicated to civil nuclear energy. It is an honor to stand before you today as we open this landmark event, a testament to the excellence, innovation, and ambition of our industry. This year's WNE is not just bigger, it is bolder, more diverse, and more forward-looking than ever before. In terms of number, the 2025 edition is breaking all records. Over 1,000 exhibitors, up from 780 in 2023, are showcasing their expertise, solutions, and vision for the future. Our returning exhibitors have expanded their presence, reflecting their confidence in WNE as the leading platform for business, collaboration, and innovation. 24 national pavilions, including 6 newcomers, Brazil, Hungary, India, Kazakhstan, South Africa, and Ukraine, demonstrate the global momentum behind nuclear energy. The 18 pavilions that are back again are bigger than in 2023, a welcome development that mirrors the growing international commitment to nuclear as a cornerstone of energy security and sustainability. And our sponsors, both returnees and new, reinforce WNE as a place of influence where deals are made, partnerships are forged, and the future of nuclear energy is shaped. I would like here to thank all of them for trusting us. This edition is organized around two main themes: nuclear today and tomorrow, and electricity and beyond. Today, our industry stands at a critical juncture. The world needs reliable, low-carbon energy, now more than ever. At WNE 2025, we focus on the immediate opportunity and challenges that define our sector today. How can we extend the lifetime of existing plants, enhance their performance and their efficiency, and maximize their contribution to energy security and climate goals? Countries around the world are launching ambitious new nuclear programs. We will explore how to build the necessary ecosystems, from training and industrial capacity to competitive financing, to ensure their success. Our discussions will underscore the importance of aligning financial tools with nuclear ambitions. As a pathway to the future, with innovation and standardization, we will delve into how AI, advanced manufacturing, and modular designs can reduce costs, shorten timelines, and make nuclear projects more predictable and attractive to investors. Tomorrow, the future of nuclear is bright and bold. During these 3 days, we will explore the next frontier of our industry. Technologies such as small modular reactors and advanced reactors will revolutionize how and where nuclear energy is deployed. We will hear from pioneers who are turning these concepts into a reality. Fusion energy, once a distant dream, is now within reach. Industry leaders will share their views on where fusion stands and the perspective of industrial opportunities of this technology. The Innovation Awards, whose categories have been renewed, celebrate the best solution to our industry's challenges: extending plant lifetime, reducing cost and lead times, adapting to a new context with climate change and the increase of renewables in the global electricity mix, and expanding non-electric applications. I would like here to thank warmly the jury members and their president for the amazing work they have achieved in selecting the nominees. I heard it was a difficult task given the high quality of the 110 submissions, with a 40% increase in international applicants. This year's awards program reflects the global race to innovate. Electricity and beyond, the other theme of this edition, encapsulates the life-saving horizon which nuclear opens for us. Nuclear energy is more than electricity. It is a versatile, transformative force that can address some of humanity's greatest challenges. At WNE 2025, we are proud to introduce Electricity and Beyond, a dedicated exploration of the diverse applications of nuclear industry. In medicine, nuclear techniques save lives every day through applications from diagnostics to cancer treatments. We will showcase how innovation in this field continues to advance global health. And I would like to pay tribute to IAEA and its Director General for its program, Rays of Hope. In agriculture, nuclear science helps increase crop yields, reduce food waste, and ensure food safety contributed to global food security. In industry, beyond electricity, nuclear energy can produce clean hydrogen, provide urban heating, and desalinate water, offering solutions for a sustainable future. In space, nuclear power is enabling the next era of space exploration and commercialization, from powering advanced communication satellites to supporting human missions to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Our Beyond Electricity Expo offers an immersive experience covering 400 square meters at the entrance of the exhibition, allowing you to discover these groundbreaking applications and engage with the experts who are making them a reality. The nuclear industry's long-term success cannot be assured without a workforce of tremendous size and capability. Conceiving, building, operating, maintaining, and dismantling nuclear installations requires at least 100 different jobs. In France alone, 100,000 job positions will be required in the following 10 years. And I leave you to do the math and extrapolate this to the world. In this respect, empowering the next generation is essential. The future of nuclear belongs to the young professionals, students, and innovators who will carry our industry forward. Our job and training village will welcome over 1,000 young visitors and job seekers, offering them immersive experiences from virtual reality to interactive games, and connecting them with industry leaders. 30 startups from around the world, Canada, France, India, Italy, the Netherlands, Poland, South Korea, UK, and US, will showcase their groundbreaking ideas, proving that nuclear innovation knows no borders. More than half of our 2023 startups have returned with their own booth. We wish the same success to those of this edition. The World Nuclear Exhibition is a global stage for a global industry and reflects the world's nuclear ambition. We are honored to welcome, as you already know, Roland Lescure, the French minister, Raphaël Mariano Grossi, and Fatih Birol. And tomorrow, Dr. Lassina Zerbo, former Prime Minister of Burkina Faso and President of the Rwanda Atomic Energy Board, will address how to secure Africa's seat in nuclear innovation. With Dr. Sama Bilbao Ileon, Director General of the World Nuclear Association, and leaders from every continent, WNE is where policy meets industry and where vision meets execution. Their presence underscores the critical role of nuclear energy in addressing climate change, energy security, and sustainable development. As we stand here today, the world faces unprecedented energy challenges. The demand for clean, reliable, and affordable power has never been greater. Nuclear energy is not part of the solution, it is essential to it. During those 3 days, let's collaborate across borders and sectors, innovate to find and build new solutions, and invest in the technologies and people who will define the next era of nuclear energy. Together, we can ensure that nuclear power delivers on its promises to power economies, protect the planet, and improve lives. On behalf of the entire WNE team, I invite you to explore, engage, and visualize the future of nuclear energy. Visit the exhibitions, attend the panel discussions and workshops, meet the innovators, and be part of the conversation that will shape our world. So welcome to WNE 2025. Let's connect nuclear to the world together. Thank you.
Merci. Thank you, Her Excellency Sylvie Berman. And we're now going to take our next speaker to the podium. And this person is one of the leading voices when it comes to advocating for a return to realism. And that is, of course, emphasizing how nuclear and leading efforts in nuclear with leading efforts worldwide can actually expansion how nuclear can be more safe and peaceful. Probably you know who it is right now. It's the Director General for International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Mariano Grossi. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, dear friends. Great to be back in Paris for WNE, an event that has become perhaps the biggest global gathering of decision makers, like the minister, experts, like Fatih, and international organizations, together with you, the ones that are really driving this activity, the companies, the firms that are making this a reality. Sylvie just gave us a good outlook of what is happening in the world. And I think that over the past few years, we have seen a steady growth in the activity and the realization of its indispensable nature, character. I like, as Linda was saying, to refer to this instead of a renaissance as a return to realism. A return to the realization that without the contribution of nuclear energy, economic growth, decarbonization, the creation of conditions for technological innovation is going to be impossible. But of course, these are words. We have to see whether in reality we are seeing this coming to be. And I thought that for this conversation today, it would be interesting to look at or to take a moment as a point of reference and to see whether this is happening or not. 2 years ago, in Dubai, in one of these big climate conferences, they are called the COPs, you're aware of those? It was the 28th edition of the COP. For the first time, everybody around the room, not only the Frances of the world or the United States of the world or the big nuclear countries or China, Japan, Russia, everybody agreed that nuclear energy should be accelerated, not just tolerated or, let it be accelerated, because we know and we finally accepted the indispensable nature of this contribution to the energy mixes in the world. So from that moment on, and on that occasion, a number of countries, including France, said, well, we should perhaps triple our nuclear percentage. So, of course, big words, big promises. Let's see what has been happening. Have we been moving from pledge to concrete progress? And this is perhaps the parameter against which we should see whether this is happening and where it is happening. And I believe that the record is showing a very interesting and really promising trend. We see, and if we take, I invite you to, go on a bird's eye view of what is happening in the world, here in Europe and elsewhere, things that are indicating that this is really happening. Of course, starting at home, Mr. Minister, we see the determination, the decisions of the government to go for new build, to explore also the possibilities of SMRs. We see what is happening in the United Kingdom. We see how many countries in this continent that had adopted policies aiming at phasing out nuclear energy have been, with a couple of exceptions, have been reverting one after the other. all these decisions. And now they are what? Returning to realism, returning to recognize that without this, their economies are not going to have the capacity to grow at the expectations of their respective societies. And we are seeing this also with the convergence of important elements that have appeared in our international scene because of, we have to say it, tensions, fragmentations, even war. Energy security is now a thing. We need to think about what are the real tools that may give countries the degree of autonomy, the degree of margin of maneuver that they need. And we see this especially with Eastern and Central Europe countries, where the degree of advancement in terms of nuclear is happening. But of course, this is not a European phenomenon alone. What we see happening in China, where 26 nuclear reactors are being built as we speak, what we see also in Russia, what we see in India, what we see in all of these places, in South America, in the United States, where in March this year the President signed a number of executive orders that are pushing the sector in a very determined way. So we see all these things actually happening, capacity being added. And this is what is really giving hope, raison d'être, a reason to be there, and a sense of purpose to all of you, to this community. From the perspective of an international organization like the IAEA, which was created in the 1950s to make sure that atoms would be used for peace, and as Sylvie was reminding us, to give us energy, to cure, to save lives, this is very important. It is part of our mission. And what we are trying to do is to ensure that this phenomenon is not leaving anybody behind. Very happy to see my good friend Lassina Serbo here, and with him we are working in Africa, in so many countries that do not want to be left behind, and that also want to benefit from this. Apart from the examples of South Africa, where I was last week, and that has finally decided to move forward with its nuclear program, building new reactors at Coburg. The marvelous example of Egypt with El Daba, with 4 fantastic nuclear reactors, and other countries moving in that direction. So we see the globality of the phenomenon. And this is why the IAEA needs to be there, to make sure that this happens in a safe, secure way, and for all, evidently. New technologies are there. We are aware, and we will be seeing a lot out here in the halls about small modular reactors and how this technology is moving. But it's not the only thing. For the first time in the commercial history of nuclear exploitation, there is a demand for nuclear. The market is demanding it. The market is pushing for nuclear. It's no longer about states taking decisions top down and going for an avenue that says nuclear has to be there. And it is obvious where this is happening. In a few days in Vienna, and we hope to see a lot of you there, we are going to be having the first international conference of AI and nuclear. Artificial intelligence is not only helping nuclear, as any other sector of the economy, be more efficient, but it's also a sector that is demanding nuclear energy. Week after week, we see how all these big names, be it Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, all of them signing up for nuclear energy. Why is this so? Because nuclear energy gives all these capabilities, previsibility, dispatchability, that is so badly needed. And there are new horizons. There are new horizons. The shipping industry is also moving, and the IAEA is leading an initiative in that regard as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, what a great moment to be having this new WNE, a moment where we see that this return of realism is a real return. And what happened in Dubai in 2023 at the COP28 is really happening. So, from our perspective, we say thank you. We said keep engaged, because there are great moments ahead for all nuclear all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi. And now we're going to have a speaker here that's actually been elected as a Time 100 person. He is well known to most of you, I know. He has been here for, well, 4 years ago the first time, and then he claimed that nuclear might have a comeback. Looking at the record numbers, Sylvie Berman mentioned it, Her Excellency, that record number of people here expected these 3 days, and also over 1,100 exhibitions here in the halls behind you. Well, we're going to see him now. He's going to talk here, and we're very happy to have him here. It's Dr. Fatih Birol, Executive Director, International Energy Agency. Welcome up. Stage yours.
Mr. Minister, dear Rafael, Madam Ambassador, dear colleagues, a very good morning to all of you. It's a great pleasure and honor to be back to this wonderful meeting. And as our colleague just said, dear colleagues, it's a great pleasure for me because 4 years ago, 30th of November 2021, exactly here, I said, looking at the data, talking with governments, I dare to say, nuclear may make a comeback. And today, nuclear is back. Nuclear is back in a very strong manner. I give you a couple of numbers. Why nuclear is back? 3 numbers. 2025, this year, according to our numbers, is the highest amount of electricity generated from nuclear in the world. The world has never, ever generated so much nuclear electricity in the world, in the history. This is number one. Number two, 70 gigawatts of nuclear power plants are under construction, the highest ever in the last 3 decades. And number three, 40 countries who have not built a nuclear industry have plans to build their nuclear industry. So all these 3 things coming together, I think what I said 4 years ago, nuclear is going to make comeback, is a reality now. Thanks to you, thanks to many governments. But there are also 3 major drivers which brings nuclear here today. What are those? Number one, electricity security, energy security. Dear colleagues, today we are living in a dangerous world. Geopolitical tensions casting long and dark shadows on energy and other parts of the economy. Therefore, many governments around the world, many nations around the world want to build their domestic electricity. And together with renewables, solar, wind, hydropower, geothermal, nuclear power emerges as a reliable electricity generation source generated at home. This is number one. The second driver of the nuclear making a comeback is the climate change. This afternoon, I am traveling to COP30 to Belém upon invitation of President Lula, and I can assure you, many countries now, in their fight against climate change, they see nuclear power as an important instrument to address this. And the third reason is the following. And this is something that we all need to understand. Dear colleagues, we are entering the age of electricity. We use a lot of oil, We will use gas, in some countries coal, but the amount of electricity consumption growing around the world is unprecedented. At the IEA, we make our hands dirty with data. Around the world, electricity demand is exploding. Even in Europe, where electricity demand was flat for 15 years, it is increasing now. In the United States, Japan, electricity demand flat is increasing, and everywhere, especially emerging world. Why this is happening? Why I am saying we are entering the age of electricity? Because we are going to use more and more electricity in our lives, driven by mainly three new emerging factors. Number one, artificial intelligence. For artificial intelligence, you need data centers. And they are mushrooming around the world, data centers. For you to put in a context, one medium-sized data center consumes electricity as much as a city with 100,000 households. And there are many of them coming. Among the countries around the world, there is a race to be a leader in the artificial intelligence. And in my humble view, artificial intelligence might well be the most consequential technological innovation of the humanity. And the countries who have a lot of electricity 24/7 will be a step in front of the others in the race of AI. So the first reason age of electricity is lots of electricity is needed for artificial intelligence, because there is no AI without electricity. This is number one. Number two, many of you, especially this part of the world in France where we are, may not recognize, but globally, number one driver of electricity demand growth is increasing number of air conditioners. Air conditioners. In the United States, in Japan, 90% of the households have an air conditioner. In Nigeria, it is 5%. India, 20%. Indonesia, 25%. With the increasing income levels and the increasing temperatures, people buy air conditioners to have a comfortable life, which is very, very legitimate. And this is a major driver of age of electricity. This is the second one. Third and the last driver of age of electricity is electric vehicles. Dear colleagues, 5 years ago, only 5 years ago, 5% of all the cars sold in the world was electric. 5%. This year, 25% of all the cars sold are electric. So it means every fourth car sold is electric, and they need electricity. Mobility, both cars and slowly but surely trucks are going to be electrified, which gives another boost. So therefore, these three new emerging drivers of electricity consumption, artificial intelligence, air conditioners, and electric cars, brings us to age of electricity. Big demand. How are we going to meet that demand? Renewables in many countries, wind, solar, hydro, geothermal, but also nuclear power, and of course other choices in other countries such as natural gas and coal, with all their implications. And here, in my view, nuclear has a golden opportunity to make this comeback, to see a golden age of nuclear power as we have seen early 70s and 80s. but this is not taken for granted. I see, in addition to financing, a major topic that I understand going to be discussed tomorrow, I see three major jobs for the nuclear to be a golden age of nuclear power. Number one, for the nuclear industry, to be very frank, except for some countries here and there, nuclear industry recently didn't perform very well. We made the analysis at the IEA. Nuclear projects, when they planned, how much it cost and how much the first original cost estimate was and how long does it take. The result is very depressing. On average, in most countries in the world, nuclear power plants finish with 8 years of delay. This is on average, 8 years of delay. And in terms of cost, the final cost was 2.5 times higher than the cost estimated in the beginning. So if you want to see nuclear, this comeback, turn into gigawatts, megawatts, nuclear industry need to deliver on time and on budget and gain its credibility again. Number one. Number two, I said nuclear is a very important option for many countries for energy security because you produce the electricity at home. However, we need to look at the entire supply chain. I see that in most countries, many countries, the uranium production and the enrichment is concentrated on a very few number of countries. In the energy world, energy security, my golden rule number one for energy security is diversification. But here I see, in terms of the nuclear production and enrichment concentration, which is not a good news. So we need to say diversification here. This is the second one. And third, innovation. Dear colleagues, small modular reactors, demand is big. Demand is big. But demand is something, to produce and bring it to the customer is something else. There are many challenges, SMR, to hit the market as we hope to see early 2030s. And one of the challenges that I wish there are many policymakers here, regulators, how we can have the standards and how we can make the regulation licensing tailored for the SMRs, not using the same regulation and the standards for the large-scale reactors. So this is the third challenge I want to put in front of you. Dear colleagues, I want to say a few words about our host country, France. I want to thank Mr. Minister, to you and your government, especially President Macron, for prioritizing nuclear power as a key issue for French economy. I think this is gives a clear vision to the French industry, French economy, and the other partners around the world. And France, having a lot of experience in the nuclear power, being one of the pillars of the global nuclear industry, having a command on the entire supply chain and experience, it is a great pleasure to be in this room hosted by France and acknowledging France being one of the drivers of the global nuclear comeback. To finish, dear colleagues, I said 4 years ago, nuclear, I dare to say nuclear is going to come back. And I can assure you, at the International Energy Agency, we have all the numbers of the energy world, not nuclear energy world. Nuclear is back. Market is there, demand is there, technology is there, and the policy, the wind of policies is blowing in the right direction. Whether or not, in this very fertile and excellent basis, nuclear industry governments will make sure that we are entering a golden age for nuclear power remains to all of you. And I see, dear colleagues, many countries here coming from different continents. I have one final humble suggestion to all of you, because I travel a lot. I was last week in Singapore and went to Canada for G7 with Mr. Minister. I go to Brazil and then to Africa. Many countries want to build their nuclear industry. I have one humble suggestion. Very simple. Choose your partner right. If you don't choose the right partner, you will regret in the future, as it happens in the life. If you choose the right partner, you will have a very happy life and a lot of electricity. Thank you very much for your attention.
Dr. Fatih Birol, thank you so much. At this leading civil nuclear exhibition, World Leading 2023, he was here. He's back 2025. Please give a warm hand to the French Minister of Economy, Finance, Industrial, Energy and Digital Sovereignty. Welcome. Roland Lescure.
Bonjour, bonjour à tous et à toutes et bienvenue à Paris. Thank you, Linda. Thank you for quarterbacking this session. Whenever there's a Swede on stage, I just fear we're in the midst of the Eurovision Song Contest, and that at the end, Sweden will win. So can we please warmly thank her for all the job she's doing? But also through Linda, I would like to warmly thank and congratulate Sweden, which is not only winning Eurovision Song Contest every other time, they're also a great nuclear country. And with my colleague and friend Eba Bush, we've been pushing, advocating for nuclear energy to come back at the European stage, and it has come back as well. So thank you, Sweden, and thank you, Linda. Thank you very much, Sylvie, Madame la Présidente. This is a great event, and as you said, I was here 2 years ago. This is a much greater event than it was then, and it's thanks to you, and thanks to everyone that's been involved in the organization. You've made a rise of 30% in all sorts of dimensions. You know, we expect 25,000 people to come here in the next 3 days. There's more than 1,000 people who are exhibiting here, different stands. So thank you very much, Sylvie, and through you, thanks very much to the whole team behind this. Thank you all. Thank you. I would also like to commend two extraordinary men. I think you all know the Tintin adventures. In Tintin, there's a Thomson and Thomson. In French, we call them Dupont and Dupont. Where the Thomsons and Thomsons of nuclear energy are here, they're called Fatih and Raphael, and without them, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be celebrating the comeback of nuclear energy. And I want to say two things about those guys, and also about the organizations they represent. They are always, always serious people. When they talk, they command data, they command research, they command expertise. And when they talk about what we love talking about, they bring facts, they bring information. And at a time where counterfacts, fake news, and opinions are abundant, we really rely on you two and the organizations, again, you represent, to bring facts to the tables, facts to the discussion. That's one thing. But two, you are truly multilateral. You guys, when you talk, you're also representing the interests of the world. And again, at a time where multilateralism is a bit at risk, I would also like to thank you two for raising the flags and carrying it of multilateralism. We have tons of issues to manage. We are going to manage them together not against each other. So again, the two of you, thank you very much. Thank you. Today we have gathered a family of friends. Everyone in the room is a friend of nuclear energy. But more importantly, I think everyone in the room today is also a friend of the planet. We are faced with amazing challenges, climate change being one of the very many, and probably the most important of the last century. And we together have a solution. It's not the only solution, I'll get back to that, but we are friends of the planet, we are friends of nuclear energy, so I'd like to thank you all for being here, ministers, diplomats, engineers, CEOs, industrials from all over the world, for bringing together solutions, again, for energy independency, energy efficiency, but also a carbon-free planet, which we all need to work. You said it, I think, Raphael. 2 years ago, you were in Dubai. And just before that, we were in Paris here. And last week, we were in Toronto together. And this week, we're back in Paris. What a progress we've made together over the last 2 years. I can put it that way. The war of religion is over. We now have convinced the world that we are part of the solution, not part of the problem. And this is a great victory for all of us. Thank you, well done, congratulations. Now let's get to work. I would say one thing before dipping into what we have to do in the next few years. The war of religion has been won, but there's no clear winner. We have to understand that the inner fight that we've had in France and all over between renewables on one side and nuclear on the other side has no clear winner. We're going to win if we act together. We're going to win if together we can provide systems, grids, stable grids that make sure that those two parts of the solution are part of the overall key to our problems. And there's also no winner between anti-nuclear countries and pro-nuclear countries. What we've managed to do is convince everyone that we need to move forward on that solution. Some countries are going to be, in a way, a bit free riders of that wave. They're not going to build nuclear, but they're going to enjoy it. They're going to use it. And we have to make sure that we include those countries, including dear friends of ours, in those conversations. We did it last week in Toronto, and we're going to do it again. The war's been won. The war is over. Now the real work begins. And I think at the heart of that real work, there's one word that we need to share. That word is innovation. Innovation is going to be at the heart of what you guys are going to be seeing the next 3 days and what we're going to do in the next 3 decades. Of course, when we talk about innovation, I'm in a room where probably 2/3 of the room is engineers. We are thinking of technological revolution, and you guys have alluded to it. AI is at the heart of the energy transition. We need clear, clean, cheap energy to make sure the AI revolution works. We also need AI to make sure that that energy revolution works. But technological innovation is going to be at the heart of the development of small modular reactor, of nuclear fusion, of the big nuclear reactor that we're going to build, our ability to make sure that the grids are stable. Technological innovation is key. But it's not the only one. We have to make sure that on the financing, we can also be innovative. We have to think of new ways of financing the massive investments that we have to do in the next decades. And speaking in the seat of a finance minister of a country that's struggling to pass a budget and that's going to have, say, a bit of a hurdle to pass in the next 4 weeks, I know what I'm talking about. I'm sure there are in the room investors that are interested in helping us financing that new revolution. We need public-private partnership. We need long-term investors, pension plan, sovereign wealth fund, to come and help us build that future together. We are aligned in our ability to invest in the long run. Let's make sure that that financial innovation keeps on going. We also have to innovate in the governance of how we do things. How we do make sure that safety and security is at the heart of what we do. I think we all remember why and how the war started. There was a big accident, which, by the way, we all know was not a nuclear accident, in Fukushima. But that led to massive fears in our citizens, which are understandable. So what we do on safety, what we do on security, has to make sure that we reassure all our citizens that we're doing things the right way. We've had a big project in France, which led to the merger of the two safety authorities that are now under one helm. We have to keep on making sure that the governance, both at the international level and at the national level, of our nuclear energy vertical is safe, reassuring, and efficient. We also have to make sure that when you want to build a nuclear power station, the authorities are also going to be on time to make sure that permitting, environmental regulation, the facilities, highways, housing are there to make sure that the ones who are building the nuclear facilities have got the right surrounding to make sure we do it fast. So governance is important. We also have to understand that the innovation is also about the usages. Nuclear energy is not just about providing carbon-free, cheap volume electricity. It's also about providing heat for industrials who want to decarbonize their industry. It's also about revolutionizing medicine, health policies. So usages are going to change fundamentally, and that's a lot of work for all of us guys, which we have to understand. We have to innovate in the way we see our supply chain. We're going to have massive needs across the world, and we have fantastic companies, large, medium, and small, that can provide. And to be fair, the large are mostly going to be competing with one another. And I've seen a few stands of massive competitors that are going to be competing across the world for those massive projects. But I'm talking to all the large companies that are going to fight and win projects across the world. Don't forget the mid-sized one, the small-sized one that are providing for work and that are going to help you build this. And I'm very happy that we, as French large companies, can use suppliers from all over the world, provided that all the large companies can also think of using small and medium French companies when they're building nuclear power stations elsewhere. We have to innovate to make sure that this supply chain, global, is efficient, it's powerful, it's new, and it's working. And last but not least, we have to innovate in the way we see our talent pool. We're going to have massive needs of engineers, of researchers, of welders, of plumbers, of masons. And this is going to be a massive opportunity, provided that we know how to fill it. Training, on-the-job training, requalification of industries that are on the way down to make sure that we feed that industry that's on the way up. That's going to require a lot of innovation. Again, we were exchanging with Raphael earlier. I think 600 master's students have been granted by you guys to make sure that we have more students interested in nuclear, trained in nuclear, and can help us build nuclear. And do you know what those 600 students have in common? You don't. Can women in the room raise their hands, please? Thank you, ladies. But there's one thing, there's not enough of you. We need more of you. There's no reason why the future of the industry doesn't rely on at least 50% of the world population. Well, those 600 students, they're all women. So thank you for doing that. We need to make sure that we have more women in industry and that we have more women building the future of the energy that we all want to build. I'm not going to be any longer. But again, as I said, this room is probably full of engineers. When I say now the real work begins, it really does begin. Because we are faced with a massive operational challenge. I think Fatih said it, on time, on budget. These are words that are being said a lot. They need to become a reality of your industries. We need to make sure that beyond safety, beyond attractiveness of talent, beyond our ability to make people dream in a technological future that's real for everyone, that we can deliver. Because if we can deliver, we'll be in a better planet, we'll be in a more prosperous planet, and I think we will be also in a more peaceful planet. So thank you very much. Let's get back to work. Let's do it. I now declare open the 6th WNE. Have a great day, and thank you, everyone.